do anyways, just to fill the time,
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's we've been talking about this for a bit, and it's nice to finally be here.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to do this. It's been a long we've been talking about doing one together for the longest of times. But I'm glad we're able to do this, and it's cool. Well, we should also mention the fact that oh, sorry, a little echo there. I do want to mention that we also have something from Professor Bates' class. Shout out to Professor Bates. That's actually how I met, was from University of Florida and sports journalism class for play-by-play. I'm just gonna give random information about the class. Like, if you want to know the class code or the schedule, please,
If
please.
you're watching this live stream from Alaska, transfer to the University of Florida and take that class.
That's right. Or from the University of Italy, all the way from there. So we got a lot to talk about here today. One thing we got two important things. Both This is definitely gonna be a Star Wars themed episode. The first thing we got to talk about is Kenobi. Now, Kenobi, if anybody doesn't know, in Star Wars world, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor. We also have I don't know if you I know you watched a couple episodes, but we call them on the podcast. We have certain names for certain Star Wars characters here. My friend Andres called him Thick Boy Kenobi. So Thick Boy Kenobi finally has a show on Netflix,
I
or
can get behind that.
yeah, not on Netflix. I'm sorry,
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Um, but yeah, no, it's Thick Boy Kenobi is out on Disney Plus. I don't know if that name is on. If you log in, it says Thick Boy Kenobi, but it's Obi-Wan Kenobi is on there. It has 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes of the miniseries, of the 6 part miniseries, is on there, and I don't know. I've heard mostly good things. I don't hear any really bad things. The only thing I really heard is mostly good or kind of meh reviews so far. There's many different things, but what is your synopsis, or what is your thoughts so far on Kenobi?
Yeah, like you, I've mostly heard positive. The only negative is from that one side of the fandom that I don't like to associate with it all. But I really enjoyed it. I would say maybe it's a little bit of my prequel bias because I was a prequel baby. The Phantom Menace was the first film I ever saw in theaters. I
Wow.
saw Attack of the Clones on my birthday. I saw Revenge of the Sith like 10 times in theaters. But with those, I can acknowledge they're not perfect films and they have their pretty obvious flaws, much as I love them. But I think this was a really well put together show. And I really love not even just Star Wars, but with these Disney Plus series in general, like going to Marvel and whatnot, having this expanded time length so that you can really dive deep into the characters. Like, I really felt what Obi-Wan was feeling, even when he wasn't speaking, just by seeing how Ewan was acting with his face. And that's really why I think I'm digging the series, because I love getting into the emotions of characters rather than just pew pew lightsaber, I mean, which we all can appreciate, but I just really like deep dives in characters. And from where we're going from here with the tease at the end of episode 2, I think we're only going to get a lot more of that.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of things that I never thought we would be able to do in the show. Not we. I sound like we were writing the show. There's a lot of things
We
that
are.
and maybe, ladies and gentlemen, we're those secret writers. That's why we're talking about it. No, I there's a lot of unanswered questions I never thought of that they are answering. For example, like the Imperial Senate, or also like the politics going on, because you hear it in A New Hope a lot. You hear like Princess Leia in the beginning. She's like, the Imperial Senate will never go with this. And then when I was a kid, I was just like, your kid just gloss over like Darth Vader is there. Oh my god! Like you don't think about like the government or the politics or stuff like that. But then finally, when you are like watching over the years and you grow old and you pick up on stuff, yeah, where the hell were they? What was going on there? They even talk about it Force Awakens a bit. You're like, where the hell was the government? Like, it's just kind of the same thing. That's a different episode in itself about comparing the two. But I do like the fact that there's Bail Organa's there. I love the fact that Leia is in this more than Luke. Not that I wanted Luke, but I feel like I think it would have been cliched if he has to go rescue Luke. It's great that they did Leia, because like Obi-Wan is supposed to take care of Luke. That's what he's dedicated to, and later he trains him in episode 4. It's kind of nice change of pace to go, hey, listen, Bail Organa's like, listen, you're the best we got right now. Like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers is taking our kid across the galaxy. We don't know where the hell she is. Like, you got to go do it. He's like, no, I'm too busy being a thick boy in the sand, like this in the sand here. And my former master or apprentice didn't like sand. And oh my god, he's just going through a lot. And
I don't
then
like sand,
I don't like
of
sand.
course, rough,
And irritating.
irritating. It
And
gets
it gets
everywhere.
everywhere, just what a romantic. But and then those things I think are important, and I love Leia. I think the actress who plays Leia, I think, is doing a terrific job. But that's one of the things I like about the show was the fact of the Alderaan is there, because I was kind of worried about seeing a lot of Tatooine, because I'll be honest, I'm kind of we need a break from Tatooine, especially after Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, just so much brown recently in Star Wars. Like, even if there's been so much Tatooine, and when they've been off Tatooine, they've been on other desert planets as is. So, like, Alderaan is like the complete opposite of that. It's like the
Right.
utopian Star Wars planet, and we only saw it for what 10 seconds in Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith, and that's it. So instantly when they panned down, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, we got a quick thing. I see Ken here. Good boy Ken. I love the Irish Jedi. That's right. I'm Cal Kestis, everybody. I'm just kidding. But Ken is a regular on the podcast. He has if you ever come more in the future, you'll know more about him. He's a fun guy. But um what else? What else did you like about the show so far?
Well, this wasn't really important to the plot, but I wanted to bring it up. I really, 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 really love the scene with the clone trooper on
Yeah.
Dayu.
Episode
Just
2, yeah.
yeah, I even before he spoke, which obviously right when he first spoke, I knew it was Tim. Just seeing the blurry vision, I was like, that's a 501st clone trooper.
Yeah.
And like, it's so sad because Obi-Wan, he knows not only that the clones betrayed them, but that specific group was Anakin's, who he raided the Jedi Temple with. And he still has that empathy. It's like, yeah, you were just a pawn in this, just as all of us were. And just like that, they're thrown out and replaced, just like everybody else. So just another look into the character study. It's like, even at his worst, he's like, I see it.
Yeah. And he was just like pretending he was just yeah, you know what, here you go, you need this more than I do, or something like that. And the guys like either this is also the first time we've seen Timur Morrison as a clone since Revenge of the Sith, which
I
is
don't
also
think it'll
cool.
be the last time.
I don't think so either. I would love to see other stuff. Like, I would love to see, my biggest thing also I would love to see is Cody and Kenobi. Just like what, like, I them to have like a what the hell, like just like a good stuff, because I know that Cody might be in Bad Batch
He was
season
in the
2.
trailer, yeah.
We can get just because I there's a lot of things I want to ask about your opinion stuff, but I want to focus on Kenobi. Plus, also this podcast is known to go on like 5 different tangents at once, so we're gonna stay on one tangent at a time.
I don't think
So
it'd be a good podcast if you didn't go off on tangents.
it's good, but it is good to always have topics, but we always like to. Anyway, so see, I'm ready to talk about something else. But
A tangent about tangents.
yes, but you know what you're saying, the 501st, yeah. And speaking of that, we also get a good glimpse of Order 66. That was like the first scene we see of the show, and I loved it. I was ready to start crying or whatever, because it was like impactful, emotional. I felt like it was cut too short.
Yeah. I feel like, it's just funny. I wanted to point out Order 66 at this point is like the snap of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, no, you're
We've
right.
seen it in obviously Revenge of the Sith. We saw it in the Clone Wars. We saw it in the Bad Batch. We saw it in Jedi Fallen Order. And now we've seen it here. Like, I'm not complaining. It's just, I mean, I would even like if we just saw like a full movie just about what went on in the Jedi Temple and across the galaxy. But obviously that'd be a project down the line. But like you said, I feel like we could have seen more rather than just that one long shot of the hallway with the Jedi and all the little kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably not the story to tell that in, but give me something, I'd like to see it.
No, and it's absolutely true, because there's a lot that happened. I know that there's rumors that the Inquisitor, I forgot her name, the
Riva.
Riva, she was in there. and that's why because it makes sense. Like, why would they show that scene out of
Mhm.
all the scenes? Like, it makes sense to
That
show that,
was
but
what I thought because I followed this, so I knew Reva was going to be in it, and
mm,
just one of the little kids, I was like, that kind of looks like her, and I don't know why else they would show this, and it would also make sense as to why Reva knew that Anakin was Vader. Maybe
yeah,
she was in the Jedi Temple, she saw him killing all these other Jedi. Maybe she heard a clone refer to him as Lord Vader.
yeah,
So it ties up on both ends. So I kind of think that's what they're going for. But I feel like
yeah.
we're going to get a lot more into the backstory of Reva as we go on as well.
Speaking of Reva, what do you think of Reva so far?
She's not my favorite character, but I like her. She's fulfilling her role well. I think the actress is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
And I just really like how there's infighting between the Inquisitors.
mm,
I always like that
yeah,
with the villains because it just creates this sense that the villains are not how do I say? I don't
not
know what I'm
complete.
saying. Yeah, like they're always going to be fighting each other and tearing each other down, and that's why they won't succeed.
And that's their downfall, right? And
Which is
it's just it's funny with the rule of two. It's always like one trying to get over the other, and with them, it's kind of like, okay, who's gonna be the next like headshot or whatever. It's just, and over time you can also see with the Grand Inquisitor, who, spoilers, dies in freaking Rebels. That later I remember there's that scene because he realizes that when you're Inquisitor, you're kind of irreplaceable, so replaceable rather. And so rather like him get saved by Canon or whatever, get hunted by Darth Vader, he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna die. I just die whatever, then like have someone catch me, which is, I don't know. I
far
think,
worse than death.
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like with him, like, that's his character's choice, but like to me, it's like, he's also a bad guy, so it's kind of good that he dies because he would not have been like, oh, you know what, never mind. Like, I take that all back. Like, he's not gonna do that. He's already gonna choose what he wants to choose, and then that's it. And I don't know. To me, it's like, I think he let his ego get in the way. Like, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm gone. Bye. To me, it's like, dude, just go hide or whatever. I don't know. That was
Have
just my thing. But
Have you read the Star Wars comics, the canon ones?
which ones? I've read
I
a
think it's just the
few.
regular Star Wars line.
I read some of Vader. I read some of so many titles. Mostly Vader stuff. I've had my iPad. I don't have it. I'll get it later. But
But yeah, the Grand Inquisitor makes an appearance in the Star Wars line as like a Sith spirit. He's like all on fire, and he's kind of like doomed to eternity to haunt. I don't even remember where he was. It
okay.
was kind of sad, actually. He's like, things worse than death, as we see. So, but going back to Kenobi, I don't think he obviously they're not going to retcon Rebels with how interconnected they've made the animated series recently.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen obviously Darth Maul get cut in half and fall down a hole. We've seen Fennec Shan get shot in the gut and stay in the desert overnight and still survive. They have some kind of technology. It was just a stab in the gut. Um,
Yeah.
and
And
I've seen there's a
okay.
people are theorizing that it's a different Grand Inquisitor, which is why he has a different shaped head. Which that no, that's a bit far.
Is that his older brother? Like,
It's like you have two Inquisitors that are the same species and look almost identical, and you just
no,
replace. No, that's a little
no.
too far
Well,
for me.
I was listening to Star Wars Theory, and he says that the species that the Grand Inquisitor, because that's just his name, right? Doesn't he doesn't have a real name, does he? Or is it just
It,
the Grand
not that
Inquisitor?
we know of.
Okay, so for we'll call him Grand. So with Grand, I believe the species have two stomachs, I believe. So I think he's able to survive even after like one stab in the stomach, which was killed by Riva. Riva, however, though, in my opinion, I don't like Riva. I think she's annoying. And not the
I
actress. I
mean,
think the actress does a great job of what she was delivered. I just, and there's a lot more to learn about Riva over time, but right now I just think she's just annoying. She just kind of just starts like telling people like, oh, I'm gonna go for Kenobi, I'm gonna do this, or this, and she doesn't listen to orders and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like I feel like she's also the youngest. She just joined recently, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, it's like she's too abrasive. She's too rash, and to me, it's like, I don't know. Even like I don't know. Even the other Inquisitors, I like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
feel like that's kind of like meant to be the point. Like you're meant to be annoyed, but I do think it's maybe a little bit over the top with how hard they're pushing that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pull like a redemption arc somehow. I listened to the Clone Cast podcast, which
Oh,
everybody should listen to. It's really good.
I'm gonna write that
And
down.
they theorized that going back to how I said Reva was at the temple and perhaps saw Anakin as Vader killing Jedi, maybe she's trying to get to Kenobi to get closer to Vader so that she can kill him as to get back at him for killing all the Jedi in the temple, and maybe the darkness has overtaken her um, a bit in that quest. I mean, I could see that. I'm not gonna say that's what I think will happen, but it's a fun
Right.
theory. Because I do think they're gonna try to humanize her a bit more rather than just this
Yeah.
over the top villain she's been so far.
Right. Right. I agree. But I'm looking at what was it called? The Clone Cast?
Yeah.
Is it Clone Cast 99?
Um I think it's just the clone cast. What are you looking on
I
it?
see two different things.
It has a picture of a calamari as the uh
Oh, I'm seeing. I can figure out that a bit later. Anyway, but oh, by the way, I did listen to your episode, like I said, with who do we call it? With the Night Sisters. They were really cool. I like the Night Sisters podcast. They were a lot of fun. I like listening to a lot. Um, and they're really cool. So we actually are in the process of doing an episode with them, actually. So
wait to hear that.
yeah, so that's pretty good. So yeah, sorry, that was a little transition to the next point. Next point is I feel like Kenobi. So what other things you want to talk about with Kenobi do you feel that we haven't talked about yet?
My one complaint, if I have one, is the chase scenes, if you will, when the bounty hunters were chasing after Leia in the forest. It was really cartoony, like the when the one Falleen just straight up ran into the tree branch,
Oh
like
yeah. And you already could tell it was like you ever see like those kids movies where they're about to catch the kid, but it's not they're not there yet in the part of the story to catch the kids. They're like, oh no, and then like
mhm.
it was kind of like and later Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of did that with Leia. It's like
And he was kind of like walking, like so that come back, come back. It's like when you're that close, you could have just tapped into the force a little bit just to pull her to you. Nobody would
yeah.
have seen.
I guess it was more of I guess to kind of show that like he's still stuck, like he hasn't used the force in a while. And I do think that they did a great motion to show that he hasn't been in touch with the force for a while. And when she fell, he's like, all right, I gotta do
It was
this.
a struggle.
And it was like he barely did it. And I like that. I like the fact that he saved her, and I love that. Like, and there's a lot of great things that they're doing greatly because this is the thing we always wanted with Star Wars from Disney Star Wars because like you know what it was? It made sense to make the trilogy. It made sense. We want new stories. We want new stuff like that. Now I think they realize that I know that you like Last Jedi. Actually I'm wearing a T-shirt of Last Jedi, ironically. Um,
Okay, Revenge of the Sith on.
there you go. They got 3 and 8. Um, but anyway, but now it just seems like they're taking a break from the sequel stuff and they're kind of going towards more the prequel and some original trilogy. But I gotta be honest, I kind of I want more sequel stuff.
Yeah,
Even though
it's
I
like immediately after the Rise of Skywalker came out, we haven't heard anything sequel related whatsoever,
yeah.
unless if it's in a Lego special, which like I get it. Hardly anybody liked the Rise of Skywalker. I did not like that movie, even as I love the other sequel movies. But like people still love the characters, and
Yeah,
just the world in general. We could have used more world building, whether
yeah.
it is even a part of the sequel trilogy. Just do something in the era.
Like you know what? I don't hate a Star Wars movie. I like more than others. but like I have a lot of issues with Rise of Skywalker. But if it was a thing on its own, like let's say Rise of Skywalker was the first ever Star Wars movie, I think it would be amazing. I think it would be great. It wouldn't be groundbreaking with the writing wise, but I do think that it's a pretty interesting movie. And also, to me, it was always great to see Palpatine back. I think for what it was, and I think that for you know what, it made sense to me. It made sense in the moment when they had no plan. They said they did, but they really didn't. Let's be honest. Even like Daisy Ridley said that in an interview with Josh Gad on Jimmy Kimmel Live when it was Josh Gad Live for that one night. Um, like it wasn't planned, and it was kind of like there's other things as well, but that's another thing about doing. But it wasn't. I don't know why it was rushing so much. I don't know why, because usually Star Wars only takes 3 years. I don't know why they were
Yeah,
doing it
they
two
had every
years.
2 years, and then even with the Rise of Skywalker, when J.J. Abrams came back on, that was not too close to, not too far from the release date. So like even that was an extra rush because they
Yeah,
had so many rewrites and reshoots for them. They were still editing it like a day before the movie was released, actually. Like I feel like nobody would have complained if there was a delay. They just wanted
and
to follow the Marvel model of a movie every single
yeah,
year, and now
and look what happened. They were supposed to do like a Star Wars movie every year,
mm-hmm,
and then they saw Solo as like a because they saw Solo and they thought that it was because they after Last Jedi, they saw that as like, oh, no one wants to see Solo. They go, no, it was more like a protest because of what happened in the Last Jedi. That's usually what it was. Like, I
there's
think people are
only
appreciating Solo more. Like, I'm trying to understand Solo more because I've only seen Solo 3 times. No, I'm not a fan of Solo. I don't know.
of it.
It's not that I'm not okay. When I say this, I'm not saying that the person who I don't know how,
Alden
Aldrin
Ehrenreich,
said it to me two more times.
Alden Ehrenreich, Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich.
You got it.
Cool. Do I get a cookie or something? Because that was a lot.
You'll get a thumbs up from me.
All right, cool. All right, cool. With Alden Ehrenreich, there we go. I thought he did a good job with his mannerisms and all that stuff with Solo, but I don't know. It was weird not seeing him. It's just weird not seeing Harrison Ford.
And it was kind of just like as much as I love the movie, it was kind of a checklist of everything we know about Han Solo. Here's how he meets Chewbacca. Here's how he gets the DL-44. Here's when he does the Kessel Run.
And do you think we needed to see that movie?
I mean, do we really need to see anything? But no, I don't think it was, especially
No.
as the fourth movie since Disney bought it. I don't think that's where they should have immediately jumped, especially
Yeah.
since it was two and a half years after we saw Han Solo die in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
It's like maybe if it came out before we saw him die, we got more attached to him, his backstory. I don't know.
Yeah.
But besides The Last Jedi, people's divisive opinions, whatever you want to think about that. Also, the fact that it came out 5 months after that, at the same time as Infinity War and Deadpool 2,
Yeah.
and right after Black Panther, and the marketing didn't start until 3 months before it came out. That was when the first trailer was revealed, and they were scared to even show Alden as Han because they didn't know what people's reactions would be. Their biggest promotional material was at Denny's. They just kind of doomed
Right.
it to.
I forgot it was at Denny's. I remember you can tell when a promotion's bad when like you like after 8 months after the movie's released, you still see like Chewbacca or Kira like kids cups. Like I remember I going to my local Denny's and seeing that all the time. It's like November. Come on, let's like something else is going on here. So no, I agree. It is. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like I remember that's the thing about Star Wars. I love how Star Wars. It's a different franchise. It's that thing where there's something special about it. It will continue to have stories. It's crazy how by the time we're like old, how much movies and shows are gonna happen in Star Wars. And it's like imagine like I tell my grandkids, hey, you have to watch like 75 films and 27 shows
I feel
to
so
understand
bad.
to we finally catch up. And that's the thing. It's like for example, like when Marvel I hope they have a year where they take a gap year because after man, sometimes to digest all this, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest.
This is even after when COVID happened. We didn't have any MCU projects for that big chunk of time, and even now, I feel flooded with it all.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of glad we had a break from MCU. I mean, it would have been nice to have something new during COVID, but I also think that it was we needed a break. We needed a good year break, and I sometimes we might need that from Star Wars. Just like okay, I need to digest all this kind of stuff, and sometimes you want to like process what's being, because sometimes you watch the stuff and you keep watching and
It
watching,
just
but just right, exactly, it blows over your head. But then you're like, okay, because to me it was like that with Bad Batch. Because to me, I just kind of, and that's the thing with me and Rebels right now and Bad Batch. Like I'm kind of mostly Rebels. I'll say I'm just rushing Rebels because I'm not enjoying Rebels. Like I'm having a hard. I've been watching it on and off for the past year and a half, and to me, it's actually more than that. I want to. Oh no, actually, year and a half, a year and a half. And to me, it's just it's not. I love the characters, I really do, but it becomes kind of I'm in the end of the second season. It's just kind of redundant, and it's too much of animation style is kind of weird than the Clone Wars. It's also just I like, I don't know. I just I if it's definitely like a Disney XD show. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon show. And sometimes I like that. Sometimes I'm in the mood like Ultimate Spider-Man, like back when Jake Bell was Spider-Man. It reminds me of those, like when I was like, 12 or 13, waking up in the morning and started like that was cool. Like I like doing that kind of stuff. And it kind of took me back watching some of the Red Bull shows. But you know, Bad Batch to me is darker than Rebels. I mean, well, again, I'm only in the second season of Rebels,
and
but like,
you haven't finished it. This is like your first time watching Rebels.
yeah, and yeah, it's taking a while because I don't want to
Did
rush it and just like go, it's just, let me just go past this part. But
have you
because
finished season two, or are you near the end of
I'm near
season
the
two?
end, I
Okay,
think I
well,
know what
let me
happens.
yeah, let me know when you actually watch the season two finale, because that's up there with peak Star Wars for me, like including movies.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, I forgot to go back in the comments. Whoever, our good buddy Brandon. Hey, Irishman, the pub called. They want their Guinness back. Oh, thanks. My
That's a
friends
good
love.
one.
Thank you. No, no, don't encourage them. They love they love the Irish memes and puns on me. Um. What do you call it? But what was I gonna say? But next, I think at the end of the day, when this kind of can go into Star Wars Celebration and Kenobi again, but like I think now people are loving Star Wars again. I feel that with Mandalorian, it really helped. I mean, Mandalorian was before Rise of Skywalker, but I think Last Jedi. I mean, to some people, I know it's like to me, like my our friend Andres, I'll speak for him. Like he hates the Last Jedi. That's his least favorite Star Wars movie of all time. But that's
Ever
also the
getting
one.
on with him?
Wait, say it again.
I said I'm never getting on with him.
No, oh, it's gonna be
I'm
World
kidding.
War Three. It's gonna. No, I was kidding, but we did have a really good live stream we did with a Star Wars TikToker. Her name is Sawyerism, and she came on and we talked about it for a bit. And her favorite Star Wars movie of all time is Rise of Skywalker. And we're like, okay, we got to hear a conversation about why that's your favorite. Not that we're trying to like listen here, but it was
I just want to know.
we were just trying to like okay, because we were trying to me and Andres were trying to find a way to, it's gonna sound really corny, but find balance in all this.
The cringe.
Yeah, it all trying to, because we're trying to find a consistency because we like this franchise. We want to see it consistent as one thing. So we're trying to see what are we looking at wrong. What are we doing? Like, because that's the thing. It's like for a certain the thing I don't like is that like for Rise of Skywalker, sometimes you have to read the book to understand what's going on. And to me, I never read the book, and I know that they explain why Palpatine came back, and I'm like, I shouldn't read a book to understand what's going on in the movie. Like
Like
most
somebody
casual
did it
fan,
with Palpatine. No, read the book and find out he was actually a
hey,
clone.
that's right. And it's not really him. It's yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, that's. I gotta read that book, but it's interesting. But it does kind of, and that's kind of where Grogu is coming into the picture of Mandalorian, which I kind of like because it's kind of setting it up to make it more important for that. But that's the thing. Like I think Disney right now is getting better. I do think that it's going to be when Star Wars being in its prime during Disney. I would say the Disney era. I would say I think it's going to be. I don't think it's in its prime. I think it's I think it's gonna be its prime right now. I think its prime was when Force Awakens came out, in my opinion, because that's when it was pretty. There was still opportunity. There was still hope, and there was still. Sorry, I had to. And there was still, But I'm not trying to say that the like. I don't think Last Jedi. I I think there's some great things in Last Jedi. I think it has some of the best acting. I think it has some of the best acting. Some of the best
Big
visual
agree.
effects are in there. And I was gonna say, and I probably at a technical standpoint, there is some great stuff in there. However, there's some issues I have. When you and I mentioned as well in the newsroom that I'm not a fan of the Finn and Rose plot line. That to me didn't make any sense. And then I'm trying to think as well. It's kind of long too. I don't know. Like it's a good. I think it's the longest Star Wars movie of all time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's like 2.5 or 2:45 or something like that. But and I wasn't a fan of Luke. Not that I wasn't a fan that he was a hermit, but it was more the fact that like just the reason why he was the way he was.
Well, I think if you have that complaint, that should lie with The Force Awakens,
How so?
really. Because The Last Jedi had to explain somehow why Luke was hermit on an island, didn't even come to rescue his best friend Han, didn't sense it whatsoever, didn't come to help Leia, didn't help all these planets that got blown up. If what other explanation could there be?
That he felt still broken.
Which today?
Did you like he still felt broken that he couldn't even help with Han? Well, didn't he disconnect himself to the Force? Is that why?
Yeah,
No, and
because he
I'm fine with I'm fine with that. He's kind of honestly he's being Kenobi, which and I'm sure I was gonna say you're probably gonna like Kenobi because you're able to explain fans like, yeah,
I've already
this
seen
is
that
Luke.
complaint. Like, oh,
Yeah,
they just did another Luke.
and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Luke realizing that I like that because you're human. You're supposed to be the thing of hope and you continue on and shit happens. I'm just not a fan of how he disconnected from the force. Like, oh, he saw visions of of Ben doing stuff. All right, I'm just going to walk in his room, turn the lightsaber, about to do it. Never mind. Too late. Ben sees it. That's it. I don't think that's a good enough reason. I don't. I think that I'm fine with exploring that, but the execution to me wasn't there.
It
Like
is a
I
nice parallel to how he was attacking Vader in Return of the Jedi. He went into his anger and then he caught himself. He looked at his hand, realized he was the same as Vader, and then he almost attacked Kylo. Looked at his hand. He's like, "No, I'm better than this." But I mean, it is a bit different because Kylo is a child and he hasn't done it yet. But I think
yeah.
I I still like the execution of everything, but I do see your point of view, and I think it could have been shown better on screen
Yeah.
rather than just those short little sequences. I don't know why my camera keeps doing this, by the way. If you can see, it keeps like bouncing back and forth, but we can just ignore that.
Let's try to do some dance moves. Yeah. But the difference with Luke is that Luke was in the moment and he was on his own as a Jedi Knight, and he was if you also Vader was kind of like if you're not going to turn to the dark side and then perhaps your sister will. Then he's like, oh no,
He will.
don't go to Leia, and then and then like and then like they had this battle. It's like this awesome epic lightsaber battle. Then he gets into it, and then he becomes stronger than Vader. Then there's like, oh, I gotta stop. I'm like father like son with the hand and stuff like that. Not like Michael Jackson glove hand, but like you know what I mean. But like, but basically it was that's the thing. It's different because he was in the moment and he was younger and he was able to go, nope, this is still my father. That's that. But then with he sees his nephew, Luke is supposed to train this by now, and he's still, it's one thing if it was this. Let's say it was a build up to something. Let's say they did. It would have been really cool if Ryan Johnson did this. They kind of showed two different points of view of of Ben going to training camp for Star Wars training camp. What am I saying? Uh, like Jedi, the new Jedi Academy that Luke was gonna do. It would have been cool to see we see like Ben's first look into it, like as a kid growing up and seeing what it was like, and it also been kind of cool to see that's Luke Skywalker's nephew. That's it would been kind of cool to see that. It's like the popular kid. It's like when the principal's son is in school and how do you react? Like it would be kind of cool to see that. And then how Luke deals with that because he doesn't have any kids. I don't think he has I know in the comics he had Mara Jade, but it seems like in canon he just was by himself. But it would have been nice to kind of explore that. But then it would kind of see what started him to become darker. How did Snoke all of a sudden start to Darth Plagueis? No,
thought that was an intentional pun.
That was that pun was not intentional. But it was no build up, but it would be kind of cool to see conflicting things, seeing what Luke's seeing and trying to prevent what his father was, to make sure his nephew wasn't like that. And then Kylo is trying to basically you're putting too much expectations on me. I don't understand why you're trying to do this. And then over time and all this kind of stuff. And it'd be kind of cool if they both had they're training a lightsaber battle. But then Luke gets really in the moment and you're like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden Ben kind of force chokes him or something like that. That would have been cool. I don't know, it's just something I feel would have been really cool.
So now you want a 3.5 hour movie.
Yes, if it's good. And not with the Rose.
I do feel like maybe at how the Phantom Menace started when Anakin was younger and then they had a time skip, maybe we could have started the sequel trilogy like that with a younger Ben. Obviously, the part of the appeal of The Force Awakens was you're just diving back into the world, maybe, but still I think seeing just a Jedi Academy movie, maybe it doesn't even have to be a part of the trilogy, just have that separate and then do the classic 7, 8, 9 trilogy. I do think what you're saying, seeing more of that would serve everybody well.
If it was a quadrilogy, yes. If it was episode 7, 8, 9, or sorry, 7, 8, and then 9 and 10 were Rise of Skywalker part 1 and 2, I think then yes. If it was kind of I'm trying to think of it, kind of Hunger Games, I would say, kind of how there's 1 and 2, and then Mockingbird part 1 or 2 or something like that. That's how I think it should be. But that's the thing. It's and a lot of people were. And that's the thing with Star Wars is now we have all these years of books and comic books and expectations. We need to think about it for 30 plus years or something like this for even with Kenobi as well. I remember there was that famous that book. What was that book called?
Kenobi by John Jackson Miller.
Yes.
I'm actually reading that right now.
With Timothy Zahn or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's John Jackson Miller. It was one of the last Legends books to come out.
And that's not canon anymore, is it?
Mm-hmm. It took place pretty much at the same exact time as this series.
What are some comparisons? Is there any comparisons from that? And this
I'm only a couple chapters in, but from what I've heard, it's just Obi-Wan on Tatooine the entire time, dealing with farmers and Tusken Raiders. So no Vader, none of this Leia and Inquisitor stuff, obviously. But I think it's just more of a deep dive into Kenobi himself, which I feel is better suited for a book than a series. You have to have something happening in a series. I wouldn't want to just see him sitting for 6 episodes on Tatooine in his hut stewing.
Yeah, you're not Boba Fett.
I mean, at least Kenobi would probably be in his own show in that case.
Yeah. Do you like that? My next question is: do you like that Kenobi is having a mini series, or do you want it to be? Would you want it to be a regular series?
I think a limited series works well because you can't really just have it as an ongoing series because we know how it ends up. They have teased that season 2 is a possibility, and yesterday Ewan McGregor went on Celebration and was like, keep watching episodes 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. So even he's like, maybe there's more. But I think having a story that you want to tell and you tell it, and that is probably the best case for this series.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be. I was listening. I wasn't.
Such a rude host.
I'm sorry.
0 out of 5
a rude
stars.
I know, what a rude host. It's your host of the most looks like a ghost with the roasts. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, no. I'm very happy. I'm very happy as a Star Wars fan because we're having a lot to do. We're having a lot. We're having a lot of fun with this. I would say it's a lot of fun. It is kind of cool to see all this kind of stuff. There's rumors that Maul might be appearing in this.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Do you think that would you want a Darth Maul show?
That's one of the things I want most. It was rumored a while back before the whole Ray Park situation happened, which I don't really want to go into.
What was the Darth Maul or the Ray Park situation?
He was posting
oh wait,
videos of his ex-wife, which yeah. So I don't know if they're going to go forward with that, and if they do, if they're going to bring him back. But it was like a post Clone Wars, seeing how he builds up Crimson Dawn and whatnot, which I really want to see more of Maul's story and more of Kira's story. So if we could get that in one, I would be on board for that. Darth Maul was my favorite Star Wars character as a kid. I had a Darth Maul bicycle. I had a Darth Maul bucket hat. I had t-shirts. I had the lightsabers, the figures. Like, give me Maul. I liked him just because he looked cool in the Phantom Menace, but the Clone Wars and Rebels, you probably already know that.
Yeah.
Just they went so deep into his character, which I never thought would ever happen. And so give me more of that.
That's right. Speaking of giving you more, we might have our co-host Andres join us in a little bit.
Oh,
yeah. So you guys can have like a 3-hour argument on Last Jedi. No, I'm just kidding. Probably during that time, I'll probably watch Last Jedi, probably during that 3-hour fight. But back to this. So I was gonna start the back and forth questions, but I'll wait till Andres because I'm sure he has something to say. I'm not sure if he's watched it, but we'll ask once he comes on. But I do think one thing I do want to ask you is, like, I am very certain that Liam Neeson's going to come back as Qui-Gon in this show.
They've teased it so much. Like the ending of the previous Leon was Yoda telling Obi-Wan that he would teach him how to commune. And then Obi-Wan's asked for his help multiple times in the series. Like, you don't set that up if you don't pay it off. And we just heard it yesterday that Liam Neeson is coming back for the Tales of the Jedi series. He wouldn't come back for that and not this show. Like,
no, it's like he has done stuff for Clone Wars. He was in that one episode
for that arc.
Which was cool. Like, and that's the thing I really love Star Wars is that it's so big, but it also has so much. And that's the thing. It's like, do you think it's because it's poor writing and that they have all much these holes, or is it a coincidence that there's so much to explore? Like, I think it really depends at the end of the day.
I feel like the universe is so big, but it sometimes feels small because every character shows up in everything and has a part. Like, Ahsoka is basically the Forrest Gump of the Star Wars universe.
Everything. Who is it? Ahsoka, you said?
Ahsoka is the Forrest Gump. She's in literally everything.
Like, and that's the thing too. To me, it's like she's like the first, like she's not in any of the 9 movies. None of the 9 movies. But she's
besides her voice in the Rise of Skywalker.
That's true. Was that Rosario Dawson or was that Ashley Eckstein?
It was Ashley.
Oh yeah. I got a funny story. I actually met her and Matt Lanter.
What?
Oh yeah, I'll show you an autograph I did. So quick little story. So you remember Star Wars Weekends? Okay, so I guess I'll explain to anybody out there who doesn't know it. So Star Wars Weekends was a fun thing that was it was at MGM Studios and Hollywood Studios at the same time. What they would do is certain select weekends during the summer, they would have everybody come dress up as a Jedi, or you literally come in and they would have like parades for Star Wars characters. You would like meet people and you would do, there was like, I remember like you would only do Jedi Training Academy right by Star Tours during Star Wars Weekend. Now they do it like, 10 times a day. Like now it's like, it's like who hasn't done Star Wars trading? I'm sure guys like I haven't. No, I'm just kidding. But there's like whoever. But it was a nice thing. And so one of the cool things is they always had panels of people from the show. So they have like war. I remember this is when it just started when I was like 5 or 6. I'm gonna take people way back. This is when Disney had it was Disney MGM, and they had the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It wasn't a ride, it was like a show. This is before Toy Story Mania. And they had Warwick Davis on. They did like a whole if everybody doesn't know, he plays Wicked and a lot of other Star Wars characters. And he was there. They got some guy from the audience, and I remember they were it was just so weird. For like you were in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was always but they did it like trivia, but just Star Wars. So I like that kind of stuff. I liked. I kind of wish they would do that kind of stuff, but they don't anymore. Anyway, that was just I haven't thought about it in years. But back to our regularly scheduled program. Back to when we go inside of one of the panels. This is I want to say around when like Clone Wars season 3, I want to say 2 or 3, I want to say, and this is when it was just getting started. And so there was one show that was there where it was called Behind the Force. They would show it like what it's like to be like behind the scenes of like voicing the character for, excuse you, behind the scenes of what it was like to be in the show. So they had the guy who played Captain Typho. He was hosting it. He was like he's like a secondary character. He was like the in charge of security for Princess Amidala in episode 2 with the eye patch. He didn't have an eye patch like this. That's the closest thing I have to an eye patch right now. Yeah, this thing or whatever. But like, so he was hosting, and then later they had Matt Lanter and Ashley Eckstein. Matt Lanter playing Anakin, and Ashley Eckstein is Ahsoka. And they had this one, and I was dressed up as Obi-Wan Kenobi. My outfit, I was like, I think it was like 7 or 8 or something like that. So then later they're like, hey, so we got a fun thing. We want to bring anybody who has an Star Wars impression, come on down and we'll like, put the microphone in front of your face and like, show everybody. So some people are like, can you do like a Clone Troopers? Then some kid was like, basically yelling like, we got to get orders to the car style. Let's go. I was like, oh, that was really good. Okay, next, anybody got a Jar Jar Binks? And then somebody's like, Misa going through the swamp or whatever, like how woo or something. I don't know. And then I was raising my hand like up and down. I was like jumping up and down. I could not do any Star Wars impressions for my life, but I didn't care because I just want to meet them for like a couple of seconds to say I met them. Then later, a few seconds went by and they saw me jumping up and down like a maniac. And then they go, hey, what's your name? I go, my name's Elliot. And they go, well, can you do a Jabba the Hutt impression? I'm like, sure. Nope. And they're like, okay, so just say Bo Shuda. And I go, you got it. And this is in front of a live audience, by the way. It's not just like 2 or 3 people. This is like in front of like at least like a good 300 people. So I speak to the mic like this, and they modulated the microphone to be lower, so it was like Bo Shuda. And I was like, whoa. And they were like, how'd you do that? Like, I don't know, it just happened. Like that was really cool, man. And they were really into that. So then also was like, that was great. Do you want to go do a scene with us? And I was like, yes. And so then they took me upstairs. We walked all the way around, and I did a scene with them. They shut the lights off, and they had like a microphone here that like they had the script there. I was a battle droid for like a quick second. I think it was like the Malevolence episode. And so I was a battle droid, and then like Ahsoka was like like, okay, let's beat the like tin cans up or something like this. And then that was the scene, and then I got it, and then I got a signed picture of Ahsoka. I'll be right back. I'll show it. Give me like 10 seconds. You keep talking if you like.
La 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 la. I'm done. Cool posters. There it is. I'm gonna have to come by and steal that, maybe.
No, you're not. You know what? I'm actually gonna
hang it up.
This is a fine addition to my collection.
Solid impression. That's definitely straight.
Is it?
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah. For now, for wall decoration right now. Yeah. But yeah,
I
that's my little
am.
story.
I'm definitely jealous. I don't think I've met anybody from Star Wars. Um,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I didn't live in Florida most of my life, so I
Where'd you
didn't get
live?
to just Ohio, where
Okay.
nobody, no, it's like that scene from The Last Jedi when Luke is like, "Where are you from?"
No
Nowhere.
way.
No one's from nowhere. Jakku. Okay, that pretty much is
That,
nowhere.
that's Cleveland. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um,
But I wanted to mention, since you brought that up, and since you mentioned the Night Sisters podcast earlier, I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, but earlier today, it's Maddie, the host from the Night Sisters podcast, birthday, and Matt Lanter and Ashley Eckstein sang her happy birthday at Star Wars Celebration.
oh, that's awesome.
And
Well,
I
first,
don't think I've ever been more jealous of a person.
wow. So just well, hopefully Matt Lanter and Alex, and I was gonna say Alexander. Whoops,
Alexander Eckstein.
Alexander. Sorry, Alexander beat me up. That's why the camera went black. No, that's really cool. Well, first of all, happy birthday. Second of all, that's awesome. Looking to have you on the podcast very soon. We're in the process of talking about getting her on. But next thing we got to talk about from Kenobi. Final thoughts. What do you think so far? What would you give a rating so far?
I think I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I've been thoroughly pleased. My only complaints are just nitpicks. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here, especially since pretty much everything from the trailers was already shown in the first 2 episodes, so they could really do anything. When they first announced the show, when they first announced that Hayden Christensen was coming back to play Darth Vader, and they were like, "It's the rematch of the century," I was a little like, "Do they have to meet?" Like, I was like,
Yeah.
they shouldn't meet between 3 and 4. But I'm on board now. I can see how it could happen. So I'm just really excited to see what would be a perfect mashup of the over the top fight from Revenge of the Sith
Right.
and the ching, ching, ching from A New Hope. And of course, that's
Yeah.
just like the cool, fun stuff. I want to see more of the character growth as well.
And that's I know there's that I'm sure you've seen it before. It's like
I know
SW
what you're going.
138 or something like that, like some weird title. But it was like it was perfect to see that, but it was I mean, it was for a fan film. They did a great job of trying to like pairing it to like the technology today to back then, especially with Al Guinness's voice. Well, his voice too, but his face, and it was kind of like it's just weird how you go for that's the first ever lightsaber scene, and it's just kind of like that's it, and then you have like that you have like kind of menace and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like it's just funny. But so you're feeling a 9 out of 10? You're feeling like a light 9 out of 10? Okay, cool. I
Would you
feel like
say?
I give it an 8 right now.
So
I give it
solid.
a I give it an 8. I don't know. I'm not trying to be picky. I'm not trying to be picky, but I feel like the only character I really care about right now is Kenobi and Leia and Organa. But like the other ones, like
They're the two main
Riva,
characters.
like and right, but like Riva, I don't really care about yet. I mean, maybe again, it's only 2 episodes, but so far I'm just not a fan of her so far. I just I'm not of I just feel like she's and like you said, it might be because that's the way it was written. Um, but yeah, I think it's supposed to be a lot of not a lot of fun. I think it's she's just supposed to be just like there's rumors that like she knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. There's that. Oh yeah, well of course she knows. What am I
She
saying?
said that.
What am I saying? She has the whole monologue at the end, and that causes Obi-Wan to have a panic attack.
By
Which
the way, I have to mention the transition from when first just Ewan's face when he realizes that Vader's still alive, and then the transition to that cut to Anakin opening his eyes. That was perfect
yeah,
timing.
and it doesn't look like it's weird. It doesn't look like Darth Vader. And not it doesn't look like him, but it looks like like a like a fan film. It's weird. Like I still can't believe it's happening that Vader is back. Like it's gonna be like Anakin, and it's really weird how it's just weird. Like I can't process. Like I think like to me, I should be like excited, but to me, it's like I expected this, which is weird. But at the same time, it's I don't know. It's really weird. Like I can't really describe it. Like I'm glad they're back because it needs to happen. And also, I do think Liam Neeson's gonna come back, and obviously he's gonna be able to talk to Obi-Wan and figure stuff out, and then train about Luke. And but I feel like Yoda is gonna come back. I feel like it's gonna make an appearance because teach you I will. He hasn't really taught him
Right.
yet.
Right.
Maybe
He's
he
like, figure it out
has.
on your own.
Yeah. And that's something that they really that like I said earlier about like moments of the of moments of the saga where they haven't really explored enough. It might be because of plot holes or whatever. Like I was talking about like did Solo need to be made? Yeah. I do think Rogue One needed to be made though. They needed a reason in canon in Star Wars in the Disney Star
There's
Wars
just this
canon.
tiny hole. Just
Yes, why does this exist? Now it's like, oh, now it makes sense. A boring movie, but I do think that it's a hot take. I think Rogue One is
the discussion for another day.
it's true. Maybe when Andres okay, where the hell is Andres? He was supposed to come and now it's taking a little too long.
Also, I'd like to say even though we barely get him in anything, I always love seeing Jimmy Smits come back as Bail Organa.
Yeah.
He's just so charming every time he's on screen. I also glad we actually got to see more of Briha Organa, which
Yeah.
we saw her just holding Leia for 5 seconds in Revenge of the
But
Sith.
she's
Glad
like
we got to see
speaking
more
role.
of an actual happy family in Star Wars, which is super rare. I mean, obviously it won't stay happy for long, but for
Right.
20 years or so.
Right. And oh yeah, what happened?
And they
20
kept
years?
laying it on thick, like, oh, this is such a great place and nothing will ever happen. It's like, all right.
You may fire when ready. And oh wait, I think there's someone coming to the
This is
board.
getting out of hand. Now there
There
are
are
three
two
of
of
them.
them. We shall not make this bargain. Okay, he's probably coming in with his computer. Okay, he's coming in hot. Um, but I like the fact that they're showing Leia. They're showing her upbringing. They're showing her trying to get with the Senate, and like how she wants her kid to be whatever. Like you need to be this and do this and this stuff like that. And also the fact of like how she's like a rebel as well. Like it shows that she's like a not like a rebel of the rebel lines, but like just a rebel in general. Like when it's
Personality, yeah.
like she was making fun of the kid where she's like, oh, you're doing this because your dad or your uncle, whatever. It's like you want to act because of this. You're tough, but you're not tough. You're shallow. And then the parents are kind of like, you got to apologize and we're family, stuff like that. I don't agree with the parents. To me,
No.
yeah, I'm like, no, like she's like, no, this is bull. She didn't say it. I don't think she knows the word bullshit yet, but she said this is bullshit. This is like, this is I don't like this, and I like that. I like her. I like Leia as that, and I like how she's feisty. I like that. That's who she's supposed to be.
I've seen complaints from people that like she's too well spoken or whatever for a 10-year-old. She's Leia Organa. She's the daughter of a senator and rebellion leaders. Like, if any child was going to be this well spoken at 10 years old, it's Leia Organa.
Yeah.
Like,
she's not gonna say stuff like, I don't like sand. Like she's not gonna say that. I mean, that's her biological father, but her, her adopted father is
like her mother, which I also appreciated. They didn't mention her by name, but just Obi-Wan referencing her and comparing Leia to Padme when they were going to the cargo ship.
Well, also now that we got to think about is also canon with Return of the Jedi, because remember that conversation they had with Luke and which okay, I'll be honest, I love Return of the Jedi, but that conversation does not hold up. Like when they're talking about being brother sister, and then Luke's like, somehow I've always known.
Like,
oh,
so
really?
you remembered at the beginning of the last movie when
y'all were like,
it was like French kiss.
Yeah. Oh no, but in canon though, if they kiss though, it's a friendship. We saw that with Kylo Ren and Rey. So maybe they're just doing as friends.
Kiss of gratitude.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God.
He's gone.
He's gone. Now we're back. I mean, but how about this? Let me start off. Let me add some what was that thing? Rapid fire questions. I have some rapid fire Disney questions for you while we get this going on.
He's
So, um, first question: Who shot first?
Greedo.
Thank you. Finally. Second
I
question.
don't really have an opinion either way, but I know
You know?
that's your opinion. So it's like, why do Star Wars fans get so worked up about the most minuscule things?
Right. Okay. Next question. Which order do you watch Star Wars in? 1 through 9 or 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9?
I usually go 1 through 9.
Really?
I usually go 1 through 8, but that's another discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, it was funny. I'm 4 through 6, then I do 1, 2, 3, then 7, 8, 9.
I go back and forth, but I think my default is 1 through.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. When you're introducing your kids to Star Wars, how would you show it to them?
Listen, I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I don't even know if I want kids, but it's something that's always like, oh God, this is such a big decision. Like, should I go machete order? Should I go release chronological? Right. So I don't have an answer. Like, I'm still deciding. Have you thought about it at all?
Yes, it's gonna be the way I was shown. It was 4, 5, 6 because when I was born in '99, so that's when Phantom Menace came out, and then when Attack of the Clones came out, I was like 3 years old, so I had no idea what was like really going on. So by the time I was like 4 or 5 was really when I started watching Star Wars, and I got the special edition, the VHS, and that's the one where like George Lucas started like kind of going back and like adding some stuff and taking some stuff out, and it was, I think that was kind of controversial, but like, and then there was like the Blu-ray edition, which I think he was a part of as well, which I'm really glad.
He made the Ewoks blink.
I will say that he did get Ian McDermott to play Palpatine, which was very important. Which I was, because when I was a kid, I was like very scared of Palpatine, like especially in episode 5. I was very scared of episode 5 because it was very dark and it was just very like, I didn't like this. It was very edgy. But then went,
sorry, wrong stream. No, I'm just kidding. Hello.
Hey Andres, how's it going?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're like, how long have we been doing the podcast for? It's been a good, what's it been, like 45 minutes?
Oh, well, nice to meet you, Michael. My name is Andres Fuentes. I'm Chilean Mr. 305, the other half of this podcast.
That's right.
Nice to meet you, dude.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
You are a bold one.
Pardon the messy type of look. I just got back from a camp, actually.
Were you singing campfire songs?
Oh yeah, we even had a stick and we drew a sea bear oval. That was our bet. It had to be a circle.
Did you wear did you do everything wrong to like get the sea bear coming? Did you have to wear mariachi hat on the back or down the back? Do you have to flip it and like toss it?
And then flash the lights back and forth and howl like a monkey. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, speaking of how like a monkey, we've been doing some rapid fire questions right now, different Star Wars questions. So I had a good one. So the first one we thought of was, who shot first, Greedo or Han?
Bruh, it's Greedo, bro.
Thank you. Finally. Okay.
3 for 3.
Next, it's when you first have your first kid, how are you going to show Star Wars to them? Is it 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, or 1 through 9?
Now, that's a good question right there. I think I'll do it like this. I'll do 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
And then not 7, 8, 9. And it just
maybe 7, yes. 8 and 9 not needed.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say that Mike likes Last Jedi.
No disrespect at all. Dude, The Last Jedi is the movie that I've watched. This is the Star Wars movies that I watched the most, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people who makes like those 5-hour YouTube videos hating on it?
No, actually, no. I wanted to like it, but it's just, I don't know. It's like trying to eat air. It's like breathing water. I just can't do it. I really can't.
It's like in SpongeBob when Plankton is eating the
Holographic
food.
meatloaf.
Oh, holographic meatloaf.
My
My
favorite.
favorite.
Well, like I just had this funny thing where we're talking about video games, and one time he was like saying about like Kingdom Hearts have like the most divisive fan base ever, and he's like and before the Last Jedi, Kingdom Hearts had the most convoluted story that I ever thought of ever in the existence of the fan base. Do you still stand by that, Andres?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
It was a nostalgic video games. The episode.
I mean, it's had some time to marinate. That was around 2.5 years ago, I think, around that. Yes. But like I don't know actually. It's just The Last Jedi is a movie that I haven't really thought about in a hot minute actually. Like if anything it's even funner to rag on The Rise of Skywalker actually. Mostly because like I would have respected The Rise of Skywalker more. I think I even would have respected The Last Jedi more if JJ stuck to what Ryan was doing, because at least Ryan had some sort of vision. I can at least give him that.
I can't disagree whatsoever.
I do want to say that from Nikki from the group chat saying Black Pill incoming. Daddy Organa was the only good character in the show in Kenobi.
Daddy
Interesting.
Organa. Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, have you guys watched the two-parter for Obi-Wan?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for about like an hour.
Nice.
How
What
about
are your
you?
thoughts?
It is. I'm digging it so far. I'm digging it.
Have you watched both?
I've watched both of them. Yes.
Okay.
If it was just the first episode, I would have been like, it would have left me a little bit like cold. But given that it was a back-to-back, okay, but I'm all on board. I'm all on board, especially with that last kicker. Spoilers if you haven't said that yet, but like Anakin Skywalker is alive. For all you guys who didn't know, but yeah. Big shocker.
Big shocker. All right. So, well, first of all, I just want to say to Nikki in the chat, why is Daddy Organa the best character in the show? In your bumbling opinion, as Andres likes to say.
Also, we haven't mentioned him, but I thought we could bring it up. What are your thoughts on Kumail's character, Haja Estri, the fraud Jedi?
The Inquisitor, the third sister?
No,
No,
the guy, the fake Jedi, the scammer.
Oh, Haja. I mean,
I thought he was unnecessary. Like not. I would like to see Kumail Nanjiani because I love him, but like I think it was kind of stupid. Like that's, I don't know. I like the idea of it. It was kind of funny, but I feel like the joking, because there should be some lighthearted joke stuff in there, but I feel like the comedy wasn't there. I thought that it should have been better. Like I don't know. I just felt like with the tone, it wasn't ready for jokes yet. I still feel like it was kind of still serious. Also, it was just kind of like, why are you helping me? Because it's right.
That was a little forced.
That was stupid. Like that was just like kind of come on. Like it was just like
I laughed more with little Leia than I did with Haja, honestly.
oh, when she was like running around trying to like trying to figure out stuff and like and Obi-Wan Kenobi was like the weekend, the Super Bowl. Like, well, where the hell is this kid? Goddamn!
I will say, even though like Obi-Wan is depressed and down on his luck and whatnot, I appreciate that the sass is still there regardless. Like he just can't help himself to just throw one of those one-liners out no matter who he's talking to.
That's true. That thick boy Kenobi sass is always there, man.
The thick boy Kenobi. Yeah, we show we told Mike about
Does Mike know about thick boy Kenobi?
That's the first thing I said this episode.
That's like the opener.
I'm glad you know.
I can get behind it 100%.
With the based on your experience lore that we have, But go ahead, Mike.
I was about to ask you guys, what do you guys think of the third sister?
Riva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I'll let our distinguished guest.
I was gonna say Elliot here does not like her. I think she's a little over the top, but she plays her role well. I think she's meant to be this like annoying, like over aggressive character. And I think we're going to get more of her backstory and why she is the way she is in the coming episodes. So she's not my favorite character, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I can dig it.
I'm kind of more on Michael's side. Sorry, Papa, but I have to go a little. I have to stray a little bit from the path here because, like the whole hype coming up for Obi-Wan, it does have its fair share of detractors, and I'm not gonna like it's not completely fair to how do you say disregard them. You know, they're like they have some good criticism here and there, like, you know, Elliot and you saying that, yeah, she's a little bit over the top and she is annoying. She really is. Like she gave me Kylo vibes, weirdly enough, like a slightly worser version of Kylo, if you ask me, like trying too hard to prove it to Granddaddy Inquisitor himself, you know, with the normal eyes instead of the yellow eyes, which would have made him cooler, if you ask me, but that's just a girl with a dream. Yeah.
Hey, wait, well, doesn't the Grand Inquisitor like change eyes sometimes? Like it's like red and yellow.
If that's a hidden detail, I haven't noticed it before. Was it?
Yeah, he has yellow eyes at times.
I do think they've improved his look a lot from the trailers, because the trailer was just terrible.
Yeah,
like they've added more of the sharp teeth. The eyes are a little better. He still has the roundish head, but
yeah,
it's serviceable.
it's like, why is Roly Poly only a freaking Inquisitor? like no, we want the guy like from episode 3 that looked kind of like that same species, where it's like 10th level, like that
Ian Medin.
thousands of battle droids. That guy, right? Who's like, dude, have you like been to a dentist? Like, what's going on with your teeth, man? Like,
yeah.
But I do think that I don't know, like I don't know. What do you guys think? Well, my next rapid fire question is thoughts on Inquisitors.
Very rapid, very rapid.
Very rapid.
I know it's been more like a like go ninja, go. Like
Vanilla Ice, nice.
I know, but that was cool. What do you guys think of Inquisitors? Like overall, like from Jedi Fallen Order, Rebels, Kenobi, comics. What do you think? What do you think about Inquisitors? Like your initial reaction.
Michael, what do you think, man?
I like the idea. I think sometimes they're a little cartoony and a little weak per se. Like you don't really feel intimidated by them. But I just really like the idea they just have these dark side users to do their doing, you know, chase down the lesser Jedi, and then Vader can come out and do the main job. But I like a lot of some of them more than others. Some of them are just background characters, like that one that showed up in Rebels and just died because his lightsaber malfunctioned in the same episode.
Oh, the like helicopter, it just like felt like
yeah. Do you guys think we're gonna see those in the show? Them flying?
I hope so.
Yeah, I love Mary Poppins.
Especially in The Last Jedi.
No, I it'd be nice to see the heli sabers.
Hella sabers.
Yeah, what are we gonna call them?
Hella sabers, man. I love that.
The light copters. I don't know, like what we're supposed to call them, but like, no, I think they'll, and that's the thing. Like, I do agree. The Inquisitors have like a lot of like Saturday morning cartoon villain vibes. Like I know I said that with a lot with Rebels. I love the idea of them. I love the fact that they're like, you know, they're like Vader's right hand man. They're like men and women. I'm sorry, I meant or the team rather. Like they're like the pretty much like the side pieces. They're not Sith Lords, but if you need some action on the side, those are the people to go for the Inquisitors.
So they're side hoes, basically.
They're side hoes, yes. Yes, the side hoes. But you know what? Like for me, like Jedi Fallen Order, like my favorite Inquisitor is the second sister. That's the one that was the apprentice to Sarah.
Yes,
I loved her a lot. I love that she was very patient. She was very like you can tell like she was like in the game. If you ever play the game, it's easily top one of the best Star Wars games of all time, top 5 easily in my opinion. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. But with second sister, I forgot her name. I forgot her real name. I know she has
Trilla.
What was it?
Trilla. Yes. Trilla.
Trilla.
I heard Cruella. I was like, Cruella Deville? No. Damn. So no, I liked her a lot. I liked how, like, I remember, like, I forgot what part of the game, but like basically she like lured Cal Kestis into a trap, and it kind of showed like her patience, and I liked that a lot. And she was very like manipulative, and she was kind of, it was interesting to see her side. And it was just kind of like, at the end, like, there was, I kind of wish there was a part of me that wishes that she didn't die. I kind of wanted her to see like
Yeah.
her saved. And I'm like, damn, because when Vader killed her, well, first of all, seeing Vader was like, oh, my
Oh
God.
yeah.
It was just like, I didn't see him coming, like, oh man. But then like it was like, you failed me, and I'm like, oh no, don't kill her. Oh,
Damn. Yeah, to me, like when I played that game and I finished it, like the best parts that I remember at least was Trilla and Terran Malicos. Yes.
who's Terra Malicos again? Was it the
Yeah,
is it the guy with like, he
the guy
looks,
who was
he's
on-
like old Ben Swallow. He has like no shirt on.
Yes, he has old man Joel from The Last of Us strength, fallen Jedi who's on Dathomir, yeah, like those two I remember vividly. Like the game really did good on its villains, man, because like Terran Malicos is only in it for I think like 2.5 hours of the game, but like oh my God, he makes it great, and Trilla being this more like a behind the scenes creeping vibe, like that serves as Cal's arch nemesis throughout, because he kills Cal's friend on that junkyard planet, like Magoo thing that he was doing, and then Trilla, I like what they did with Trilla, because I love villains that introduce themselves as a threat right from the start, and then they're presented as the main frame, the main objective that you have to cross over for the end of the game. That proves a sense of like competition with Trilla, and the more you keep fighting her, the more you learn from her. Like you learn the tragedy behind the character, and I think they did that amazingly, very wonderfully. Like legit, one of the best new characters since 2012, honestly.
2012.
Yeah, since the acquisition of this film from Georgie Boy.
Gotcha. When he handed the emergency powers.
Yeah. Yeah. George was the Jar Jar of the situation.
That's right.
I like it.
Dello Felix.
McClunky. Anyway, all right. My next question is.
Yes.
Great question.
Thank you. Next one.
Amazing question, man. 10 out of 10.
It took me. I used it with my brain. What was I gonna say? Damn it.
Well, I got a question.
Okay, go.
I do have a question.
Go Power Ranger. Go ahead.
Dragons, but going forward, right? Regarding the Last Jedi, because I do want to find some positives about the movie. Like, what is one of the best moments that you guys remember from this movie?
Turning it off. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm being an asshole. Mike, why don't you go? Because you like this movie more than
where do I start? I think the main reason that I love the film so much is just what they did with Rey and Kylo. It's kind of like a parallel to how Cal and Trilla were in Jedi Fallen Order. Like they had like a similar start, and you show how it could have contrasted where they ended up. And that's kind of the same story with Rey and Kylo in The Last Jedi and how they come together. Whether you agree with the Reylo ship or whatsoever, just as characters, I just really enjoyed every scene they were in together. You can say what you want. I know Elliot really doesn't like the Rose and Finn plotline, but I think the core of the story is really what makes it so successful.
Kyle.
I'm gonna do something that I never thought I would do. I'm gonna stand up for The Last Jedi. Let's go. Because
we're seeing some history here, because I just has never done this before.
Yeah, because I do like going back to previous things that I originally like instantly didn't like and finding the good parts about it. And Michael brings up a good point too, that the whole Kylo and Ray relationship, like not the Kylo thing, but the fact that it starts off like Kylo basically what do you say, after the bombing disaster in the beginning of the movie, right? Like Snoke roasts him on, hey, you got your ass beat by a gear. Here's a lightning bolt. But then
Child in a mask.
once held a lightsaber, you
fail.
failed. But like he smashes up his mask, it must have been awkward for the guy cleaning it up. But I love the initial trajectory that they were going with Kylo. Like he was a lot more subdued, he was a lot more like less screamy, at least in the middle beginning or something like that, right? And Ray was presented like as a noob who, like, though still kind of overpowered, like she did require some knowledge, and Luke okay, I'm gonna bite my but it, like I
Wait,
do
wait, why are
admire
you biting your tongue?
biting my tongue because like um like the instinctual response that I would get is that like Luke basically didn't even need to be there until like the last 5 minutes of the movie. But I'm trying to analyze this as objectively as I can, because like the way, like I did not like how they treated Luke in this movie. Like I'm one of those people who are just like, nah. Like I get that you go through a transition period where you lost everything, you lost everyone you loved, and you hide in shame. And like with the people that I've talked about with this film, they draw parallels to Ben Kenobi. And I say, yeah, at first glance I can see it, but like here's where I start to see cracks a little bit, because Ben went into hiding. Yeah, he felt shame for basically causing the Empire to rise up through the failure of teaching his apprentice, Bananakin Skywalker. And then through like on Tatooine, he spends the next 19 years looking after this child because that's his mission. Like Ben doesn't completely lose hope. And you can tie this to the Kenobi series too. You can see him as a man doing menial jobs, like watching some guy getting pushed around and not doing anything. Initially, yeah, that's a character breaking thing. Like on the surface, yeah, it's just like, oh, I initially had that first Elliot, am I boring you? What the fuck, man? I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. I had a couple of basic nerd experience notifications.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. I'm not gonna do that thing. But
sorry, you have my undivided attention.
thank you. But initially I had that reaction where it's like, oh my god, it's just like, this is just like the Luke Skywalker thing. It's not in character for him to do that, but
Get away! I can't do this.
I can't do this. But throughout the series, you tend to see these little bouts of, the old Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan is a good person at heart, always standing up for what's right. He was like not a balanced Jedi, but he was the ideal model of what a Jedi should strive to be. Not the strongest, but in a way, one of the more wiser Jedi, and you see these bouts of niceness through, saving a little piece of meat and feeding it to his animal, his little camel guy, and when he initially refuses the call to action by Daddy Organa, thank you, Nikki, by Daddy Organa, right? Like initially he refuses, and it's just like, okay, maybe he needs a little bit more convincing. Daddy Organa goes straight to Tatooine, tries to go in person, tries to convince him, and then he says, "This is not about going somewhere. This is not about the boy. It's not about Luke. It's about you being afraid that you might not be able to save her, like you failed to save him." And yeah, it cuts deep into the how do you say, into the root of the problem with Ben. It's one of those deconstruction things that I think did not work as well in The Last Jedi as it does here with Obi-Wan. With Obi-Wan. I mean, that's how I see it. That's where I draw a major difference between the two parallels, if you ask me.
Well, one
We
thing
were
I do.
mentioning earlier that we think that whole Luke and Ben thing would have been better if they spent more time with flashbacks, or even make it a 4-movie series, just spending time with the Jedi Academy and seeing how he was turning and how Luke was seeing that. Do you think that would have worked better?
You know,
There should be a mini series on the Jedi Academy for Luke.
yeah, I would say that maybe put it as one of the Jedi tales that was announced yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
no, and and that's the thing. I there should be certain projects that should explain certain things. It shouldn't be like a whole show, because I admit, like I'm kind of glad Kenobi. I thought like, oh, it'd be great if Kenobi had his own show. Honestly, I'm kind of glad it's only a miniseries. Like sometimes things don't need to be drawn on and on, because some seasons you can tell, like Bad Batch. I'll be honest, half of Bad Batch was filler. Like it was kind of like, all right, it could have been like 8 45-minute episodes versus like what 16 30-minute episodes, but like it was like watching a season of Very Odd Parents. But at the end of the day, I think that it's
Very good, man.
sorry, I thought Mike had a stroke for a second. I was worried for a second.
I mean, that's kind of what Crocker does.
Yeah, he has like a brain aneurysm every time he's like Very Odd Parents. Like,
Dude, the guy has an ear on his neck, man. What else is new?
Yeah, that's true.
Every time he goes to clean it, he freaking touches his vocal cords, man.
It's so weird. And then like his teeth is like up here. Like he's just a weird. No wonder he's a conspiracy theory, but and he gives people F's. But at the end of the day, I do think that it is important to have Jedi tales. Like I'm looking forward to seeing more of Qui-Gon and seeing how Ahsoka was picked up. I'm also looking to see my boy Plo Koon more in Star Wars, because I'm one of those people that want a Plo Koon show. I think Plo Koon is important to Star Wars a lot, especially in the comics and stuff like that, because he's important to the Jedi Order. Because to me, I feel like he's like a Jedi Council member who is up there, but he's also not afraid to get his hands dirty.
I have a quick rapid fire question.
Okay.
You know,
Go for
we're getting Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, and Dooku stories. What Jedi would you like to see them focus on in a new episode of Tales of the Jedi?
Shakti. I want a 3-episode series about each deleted scene where she was killed.
Two of them are for the Revenge of the Sith, and one of them is for Force Unleashed. It's like,
and then add a 4th for a new version.
that's right.
Exactly. Yeah,
And our own version.
Our own, yeah.
And then the gang's all here.
Like, which one is canon? Who knows?
Who
It's up to
knows?
you to
It's
decide.
up to you.
Yeah, that's up to the viewers to decide. That's probably going to be like the best series, because it's like so open ended. It's like it's like mixing the what if with the freaking Clone Wars, man. That would be something cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's so many Jedi, but there's also other Jedi that I wish I could see. Like, I wish Ram Koda was canon.
It was Conan. Of
was
course.
Conan.
I don't know if he's ginger. I don't know if his race has ginger people, but yeah.
Well, Rob Koda might be a former ginger. He did have gray hair, so maybe he had some in there. I'm not sure, but Rob Koda is he's not Conan or canon anymore. I can't believe I said Conan or canon.
But, dude, now that you mentioned Coda, I think Coda is another good example of a Jedi, of a master who lost his way initially because, oh man, I got blinded by this pouty lipped Instagram filter looking at the Star Killer looking guy, who says bro a lot, but here's the thing, like with Ram Koda, like you see him disillusioned because he lost his sight. And he's drinking at a bar. It humanizes him a bit. He's human. He feels things. But
he needs to get drunk. He
needs to get drunk. He needs to get his squeeze somehow.
That's right. It's happy hour in Nar Shaddaa. He needs to get his Ruby Tuesday drink on.
But throughout the Force Unleashed, you see that Star Killer slowly starts to push him on to another way to use his talents, because he has faith in the guy, just as even someone as powerful as Galen Merrick, he needs a leader, he needs a master, and Vader is not exactly the poster boy for good masters, but who else are you gonna get?
Well, then you could also say, is it Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader? Because Anakin Skywalker has been a good master to Ahsoka, but at the same time, also Ahsoka was just about to be created for Clone Wars. That's the thing too, as well. So it is a weird timestamp. But
Hold on, my man. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Excuse me, you guys. I'll be right back.
okay, go Power
Vader
Ranger.
won't be your only master. I see only me.
Me, bro. And also notice how like Ram Koda doesn't really notice him because I think he's not in touch with the Force. Also, Galen Merrick never really talked to Ram Koda at all when he was just very quiet. But then obviously he starts speaking. When does he really start talking? He really starts talking. I mean, besides he doesn't really talk to Kaz and Paratus when he kills him. I don't think he really talks to Shakti, but he really starts talking. I think I want
Like
to say
after
like
he dies,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, which is kind of weird. Like I don't know, how do you die and then like you're not dead and then but that's the thing. Like when I was a kid, like I didn't really think about that, but now I'm kind of like
Like, oh, cool.
it
'Cause I
doesn't make
thought
sense.
I thought the game was over at that point. I was like, oh, fun little 8-hour game, you know.
Right. And then I was like, oh no, there's more. And then it's like this is like the first half, and then like the second half. To me, the second half is the I don't know, like that's such a classic Star Wars game to me. It's so like it's just so much fun. It's very original. Original. I think it's kind of original in a way. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. It's so over the top, but I love it for
Yeah.
being over the top. Like I'm glad it's not canon, but I just enjoy the story as is. I wish they would bring elements of it into canon, but obviously you can't do specifically what it was. They
Yeah.
were actually going to bring Star Killer into Rebels as an Inquisitor, but they felt that was like too beneath him because he was just going to be like one of the secondary Inquisitors, and they felt he was better than that, and they wanted to save him for something more. But I would like to see him in some fashion show up in canon along with Rom Coda and all these other proxy.
Yeah. I have to admit, there's just a lot of things that like Juno was kind of like I'm not gonna lie, Juno was
Yeah,
kind of there. I never
she
really
was.
liked it.
That was
She was
before Star Wars really knew how to write women.
that's true. No, I have to admit
Like we have to have a love interest. She's your pilot. She
yeah,
flies, and then they kiss randomly. Okay.
yeah, it was just kind of like I'll be honest. Ahsoka was a very important figure in Star Wars because it's like okay, this is how Star Wars and women were. This is how it's supposed to be. Like it's like it's, and I'm glad because then we had Duchess Satine, right? That's the name,
Yep.
Duchess Satine, and then we had like other great characters. I love Hera and Sabine in
Hera and
Rebels. They're my
Sabine.
favorite characters in Rebels. Those two characters are my favorite.
Sabine is like probably in my top 5 Star Wars characters.
Oh,
Not even
really?
gonna lie. I have a lot of just like random. Like I obviously I love all the main characters like Luke and Han, but
Well, here's your top 5. Let's go right now. Next
I
rapid
mean,
fire. Top 5.
don't hate me, but Ray, at least from 7 and
Okay.
8.
I'm sorry. I
So
don't want
9
to
is
go. Go
different.
ahead. I like Ray. I
Uh,
like Ray actually. Go ahead.
Maul is still
Oh,
in
makes
there.
sense. Okay.
Sabine. These are not in order, by the way. Just
No,
throwing
no,
them
no.
out there. I love Kylo Ren. I have to admit it. And I love
I love him too. I'm
I,
wearing a
lo-
shirt of his.
I love Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think those might be my 5.
Well,
It all changes and it's very close, but those
well,
ones I have a special connection to.
question. I am dying to read a Star Wars book. I don't know where to start though. I want to start with High
What-
Republic. I want to start with Thrawn or Legend. Like I don't know where to start though. And there's also people tell me to like do the Audible, like listen to the Ahsoka book, listen to it and read it. So that's another
Well,
suggestion.
the
Like,
first
what do you
thing-
recommend?
First thing about that Ahsoka novel, it looks like they're going to be adapting that for one of the Tales of the Jedi episodes. So that's a thing that could happen. But it's funny you mentioned you want to read the High Republic and the Thrawn books because those are probably my 2 favorite Star Wars books. Is the original Thrawn book of the new canon from 2017 by Timothy Zahn.
Right.
I think it's a perfect introduction to the character, and you might even want to read it before you get into season 3 of Rebels. The sequels are, but
What's
the
the fir-
original is
What's the
the
first Thrawn book called?
it's just called Thrawn.
Thrawn.
It's literally just Thrawn. And then the
Yeah.
High Republic, Light of the Jedi is the first book, and it's also the perfect just throwing you into the world 200 years
Cool.
before the Phantom Menace, and it's just everything's hitting the fan. Like something's happening here, something's happening here. You don't get a moment to breathe. I read that in literally like a day.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Were you reading it in class? I'm just kidding. But
I skipped class to read it.
oh, wow, even better. Okay, so Light of the Jedi recommend. Do I have to read the comic books as well, or do you think I should just read the books for now?
I mean, it'll enhance your experience, but really, if you just want to read the 3 main adult novels, you should be well off. But all the like junior novels and young adult, they enhance the experience. But the 3 main novels are your best bet if you just want to.
Cool.
Thrawn.
Thrawn. I gotta get into that. Do you have to say it like that?
Thrawn.
He has one of the
But-
best theme songs in Star Wars, by the way. I have to say that. Just the organ.
Ooh, that's so true.
Is it like a Davy Jones moment where he just basically uses tentacles to try to
100%.
yes. He goes
You're
all in.
afraid to get wet.
Price?
Price.
So Mike, your top 5. Oh, by the way, Andres, our next rapid fire question is top 5 Star Wars characters. So Mike had, correct me if I'm wrong, you had Rey, Maul, Thrawn, Sabine, and
Kylo Ren.
oh, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. That's a good question, honestly. I can dang, that's a good question. Elliot, did you name off your top 5?
No.
Did not.
Go ahead. I'm passing the ball to you because I didn't. do
You
my-
had time to think of it, Elliot. He just got
That's
thrown
true.
the question now.
That's
I was
true. I
on-
had time.
That was on the can. If I knew the question, I would have been pondering it for the next hour.
That's right. Or the can. But
Cantina.
it can't.
Kento.
Okay. It has to be Luke. Luke has to be in there. I think
Yeah.
Darth Vader has to be in there. I don't know about Anakin. It depends. Clone Wars Anakin, yes. 2 and 3, I don't know. I guess Darth
But
Vader.
episode 1.
Yeah.
But it's not pod racing. No, but it's.
Are you
it's-
an angel?
It's working.
It's working.
It'll blow you up. Boom. How?
Woo.
Oh man. As much as episode 1 is, that was kind of overrated. Underrated, if you ask me.
Oh, I agree. I watched episode 1 last week, actually, rewatching it again, and yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. Like people complain about the walking and talking scenes, but I've seen way more movies with way more walking and talking, way more boring scenes than with the Phantom Menace, and you got all your characters here. You got your boy Thick Boy, and Qui-Gon is there too. And look, these two, their introduction, subtle, small, short negotiations. You get to see a little bit of what they're capable of, which is great. They don't hit you with everything right off the bat. It works. And then you these freak Viceroy gun rays. Their one-liners are hilarious as hell. It's just like, close the blast doors, And then the guy's like, where are those droidicas? Like I love how they speak, but it's just they're so stupid, man. Like their plan is to invade Naboo, to get them to, as our boy Johnny Boy says, invade Naboo, get them to sign a treaty that makes the invasion legal. Like
Checks out.
It doesn't make much sense.
As an avid lover of the Phantom Menace, that is the stupidest thing ever, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty stupid. And
As
it's
a
just,
kid, it all blew over my
Oh,
head.
yeah, it just-
and,
it
and
all
then
makes
I'm like,
sense.
oh, I'm older now. I'll try to understand it. And I'm like,
also the way
that still
the
doesn't make sense.
it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Anders, I'm not gonna say the line. Don't worry. But
Yeah.
sorry. There's a moment from the podcast that Ken said afterwards. That was you have to go. Well, Mike, we'll tell you after. But for viewers, go to the episode if you're interested. Go to the
But
Phantom
it does remind me of one of my favorite characters in the whole of Star Wars, the Big Boss Nass.
Menace.
Big Boss Nass. Oh yeah, that's part of the reason why, man. Yeah, I personally think that Big Boss Nass doesn't get his credit, if you ask me. Like he's funny for the memes and stuff, but I think he's a really cool character. He's a good leader to his people, you know.
Really?
Like, I mean,
There's
like,
not really much to explore though, except for the planet core.
you know,
But I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, you're leading the conversation.
not like the performance by Brian Blessed is bar none one of my like Alec Guinness, Mark Hamill, Brian Blessed. These three are like my top three performances ever. Seriously, yeah. And Brian Blessed, I like, props to the guy, man, because he decided to bring some of his own flair to this character, and he doesn't have much screen time, but I do admire, like, I do admire how Big Boss Nass talks, his mannerisms. Like, he brings a lot of interesting things just to the character himself. There's not much to him, but like, there's enough there where I can say that he's a good leader, willing to even like to fight for his people and stuff. Like, that's important. That's a good leader right there. Of course, he has to get convinced by Padme and Qui-Gon and everybody to defend against a stupid ass Viceroy Gunray. But at the end of the day, like, that just proves to me that he's skeptical of people that are not his own. And that's not, like, I wouldn't really call it a suggestive thing. It's just he's trying to look out for his own. And hey, that's a likable trait. And also the Binks, you saw done the life play with this and his, and then he's like, and then he's like, be gone with him, you know. And he does this.
Sounds like Salah from Indiana Jones.
He is Salah from Indiana Jones.
He just it's so funny. I mean, also there's that funny Lego. I resurfaced this Lego clip from Empire Strikes Out or something like this, and it's this funny little clip, and it's when Princess Leia and Han Solo meet Boss Nass for the first time, and the guy Brian, what was his name? Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed. Well, bless his soul for doing it again. There's this whole thing where that's the thing I love about Lego, is that they know the memes and they take it. Lego doesn't take it so seriously. It has fun with it, but it also like embraces the memes. Like, I love there's one thing where he's so appreciative of them, but he's like so happy that he keeps like spitting all over them the entire time. So he's like, you, and then like, okay, you done? And then like, and he's like, he just keeps going. But the problem is that he does it so much that it's like a freaking like tsunami that comes, and they have to get an umbrella to block the saliva that's scaring their ears. And then later, like, there's like a group of them who does it back to them, so that it's like they get flushed away like the two rats of the DreamWorks movie, like from how much saliva is coming their way. Like it's like a Richie Whirlpool from SpongeBob. But
it's awesome.
So but my five characters though, my five characters, it has to be Luke. I'm gonna say Mando. Mando has been one of my favorite characters.
Nice.
Easily. I think he's my favorite Disney character, like my Disney era Star Wars character, in my opinion. Like, I think they do a really good job with him.
Nice.
There's a lot more. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna say Plo Koon too. Plo Koon is a very critical.
You're pretty much Dave Filoni at this point.
Yeah. I love Dave Filoni. If you need a job, man, or not need a job. But
oh yeah, you're gonna give Dave Filoni a job.
Be your podcast.
Yeah, if you want a job, man, just clean my sink. No, but like, if you need an intern to do anything you want, I'm your guy. But,
you gotta give a shout out to Dexter Jetster. It's just like, hey, yo, buddy.
What do you know? I haven't seen this since what was that line? It's been a while.
I don't remember. It's just like, and Obi-Wan's just like, like, do you know where I could find them? He's like, oh, it depends. Depends on what, Dex? Depends on how big your pocketbook is.
He's a funny man. That guy's funny.
By the way, if you really love Dexter Jetster, another good book is Brotherhood. It just came out earlier this month. It's about Anakin and Obi-Wan immediately after the Clone Wars. And Dexter has a pretty prominent role in that book. I'll say that.
This is a new book that just came out.
It just came out this month. It's one of my top 5 canon books. Mike Chen, I think it's his first Star Wars book.
Interesting. So it's after the Clone Wars.
No, it's immediately the very start of the Clone Wars. So like right after Attack of the Clones. So
Oh,
Anakin
okay.
hasn't met Ahsoka yet.
Oh, so it's like it's right after his honeymoon, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Or it's not honeymoon, the wedding. The honeymoon is Clone Wars.
Yeah. The honeymoon is all those freaking Senate talks.
Oh my god! And then with Rush Clovis coming in.
Oh my god. That was like that was
That's
one
what-
of my favorite that was one of my favorite episodes actually of the Clone Wars.
Really?
Yeah. It was really interesting to see Anakin and Padme's relationship strain. Like you could actually feel the awkwardness, because like it really comes to a head when Rush rushes into Padme's room, and it's just like there's nothing to stop us from doing this. And then he Casablancas her, about to kiss her and shit. And then Anakin like lets out his inner like wombat. So he's like, get away from her. And I'm just like, oh my god. And then they start kicking the shit out of each other. Anakin gets the upper hand. He was about to kill him with his metal hand, was about to fist his face into the ground. Dude, that was ominous. That was legit one of the creepier moments of this show,
Yeah.
because
It
Like
also-
how many red signs does Padme need at that point?
bro, for real, man. Like it to me, it's creepy because of what the implications are. Like Anakin has some major anger issues, dude. Like what goes on behind the scene? Like maybe Padme's making excuses for his daddy, just be like, oh, these are love taps. Don't worry. And I'm just like,
Love taps.
I don't know, man. Like it got me thinking a little bit. I know Anakin is a good guy in the Clone Wars, good guy, but it's just he's flawed, very very flawed Jedi.
Yeah, he is. But and that's the thing though. Sometimes it kind of like I like for example, it was kind of a weird arc, the hunt for R2D2 in the beginning of the one, and for some reason Lego was like pushing that arc for some reason, even though it was like a very generic arc. Like I remember there was like this tiny 4 to 5 minute Lego short that they had of this, and then it was a weird thing. And then I remember they had like this crappy online game called Lego Star Wars: The Hunt for R2D2, and it wasn't that good. But anyway, that was just a sidetrack. But I remember the show. It was supposed to highlight like how sometimes Anakin has to go with his gut, and sometimes like not listening. He's like, I know that he's out there. This is whatever. It's like, oh, he's just a joint. No, he's more than that. He's real, mom. I'm just kidding. But he's my real friend. But it did I like that. It was kind of show that like, hey, you know what? That the Jedi are not right all the time. So it kind of goes with the instinct. So I did like that as well. To finish up my top 5, I gotta finish my top 5, and then Andres, top
Okay.
5.
Okay.
Luke, Okun,
Mm.
Mando,
Say
a lot.
Vader.
Vader is definitely there. Has to be there.
Mm.
There's another character that I love. There's a lot of characters I love. I like Boba, but I don't like him that much.
Did you like him in the book of Boba Fett?
And goes better.
Have we done a book about Boba Fett? Like and he did it again at Star Wars Celebration. I was
He
so happy.
did.
How would they review Book of Boba Fett, Andres?
No, we haven't done it.
Do we do an hour or do we wait for another episode for that?
For shame. I think we should do another episode on it because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my
You haven't
god!
watched it at all.
I'm kind of dreading watching it, man, because I don't know. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it.
Episode 4 and 5 is one of the best ever.
Okay, I'll watch it then.
4 and 5 are the worst part is because Boba's not even in it. But 4 and 5, dude, you're gonna like cream your jeans. Like
I want to.
yes, I'll give you a little spoiler. It's literally just Mando 2.5.
Oh yes, the boy.
Yeah, if you went to Mandalorian season 3 without watching this show, you have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, you have to. It's this space, so you have to watch the show regardless of Mando, which is coming out in fall, I believe, right?
February.
February, excuse me, February
February.
2023.
Okay, so I still got time.
You definitely still got time. Well, yes, you do have time. Yes. So also as well, another one. I gotta go with Ahsoka, I think. I love Ahsoka. I think she's an awesome bad. I just think that she's a great character. I think I don't like her in Rebels so far though. She's kind of weird in Rebels. Like I feel like she's not really. I don't really see much of her yet. I know that it gets better with the like. I heard 3 and 4 is much better than 1 and 2 of Rebels.
I've heard, yeah, it is. Yeah, I can see.
But I'm looking to read that book too because I heard that I think it'd be kind of good just to start with that one because it's actually X time reading it and hearing the person who played Ahsoka first or whatever.
And it's a YA novel, so it'll go by quickly.
Oh, really? Okay, then from there, so I'll do that. Question for you guys:
Yo,
Do you like that Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka, or did you want it to be Ashley Eckstein?
I love Ashley Eckstein. I actually met her at a Star Wars Celebration, I think around 10 years ago, actually.
I'm the only person here who hasn't.
Oh, really? Oh, you got a lot to look forward, man. She's the sweetest. She is so sweet. She's really, really sweet. And she's so nice and stuff, man. God. Well, now I'm really happy that in like the next Jedi Tales, that she like we get to see her homecoming, basically her training and being trained by Anakin, and I'm glad that Ashley's coming back and Matt Lanter and all those guys. I'm so happy. I really am, because Ashley really brings a lot to this role. From like by the time she was 16, which I didn't want anything to do, by the time she was around 32, which is like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? She's so cool. Yeah, I like her in Rebels. I like her in the Clone Wars, and I liked what I saw from Mando season 2. Like Rosario really brought something, and I dig it, but I have to see more of it. But for now, I wish that Ashley would have done it.
First,
I agree.
I would like to say I really had a problem with how she looked, at least in The Mandalorian, how her Montrals and Leku were not long enough, like they were half the size they were in Rebels. Rosario, I'm still trying to get past how perfect Ashley was for the role. I think like you can't really capture that. I think she does a solid job. I'm still trying to buy into it. Like you said, I have to see more. But secondly, I'd like to say I saw the clip of an old episode of the podcast where we were talking about how Andres had a crush on Ahsoka.
No.
Yeah, I saw that one, the one that came to your mind.
You're not
Was it
part of
the
FBI,
was it
are you?
was it which one was that? Was it the best of, or did you watch the actual episode?
I just saw a clip where you're making fun of how it sounded when he was talking about when she was a child and he was waiting.
It was just funny, like when anything. Well, I'll quote it. It was just funny when we start because we're talking about all the different Star Wars shows that are coming up, and then with Andres, it was like anything with Ahsoka for me gets an A approval, because when she was 16, I wanted nothing to do with her, but as I got older and she started getting older, I wanted to get more attached to her because she was very beautiful.
She was a very strong, independent, very beautiful character. She's progressing. Yeah.
It was just funny the way it's just, but then we were like, all right, hang on a second, like. The way he explained it was like, when she was 16, I want anything to do with it, but then like it was just, he didn't mean it that way, but it was just like the way, like, yeah. But anyway, but Ahsoka, yeah, it's
and top 5 characters we still have yet to hear.
Yeah, Andres, your top 5.
Oh, that's right. Luke has to be in there for sure. He's my OG. Like,
is Gonk droid in there?
Yes.
Bonk, 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 bonk,
bonk, bonk.
Best.
I gotta give a quick shout out to IG-88. Yeah, that's
really,
that's a good that's a bounty hunter who
top 5.
No, just
like an honorable mention.
IG-88 A, B, C, or D.
D, like the version that was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
that's IG-11 actually.
IG-11. Yeah, it's just that I've seen this model droid, a lot of Star Wars media, and it really didn't catch my attention until The Mandalorian, actually, when he was repurposed to defend Mando and Grogu. Yeah, and everybody else, that's awesome. But
He kept like spinning his body around.
yeah, he was like a Yakuza 2.0, metallic version. That's so cool, and yeah, Luke's got to be in there. Let's see. Um, Han, that's my boy right there. Han Solo.
Yeah, I have to admit, Han. I love Han too. It's so
Yeah.
hard. There's so many great characters.
And I'm gonna say this. I even like Alden Ehrenreich's version of the character. Like, it took me a bit because our boy Jose in the house, he loves Solo, a Star Wars story, like, and he loved what Alden Ehrenreich did, and I took it into consideration because Alden wasn't trying to copy what Harrison was doing. He wanted to make his own thing, and I think for the most part he succeeded, barring a couple of still shots where he's still at war, and there's this face where he's just like, that's a funny moment. And like, regardless of the quality of the writing of that movie, I did like Solo's depiction in that movie. I did dig it a lot. So my boy, but I can't go wrong with Harrison. That's the man right there. Let's see. Big Boss Nass. Hell to the yeah, man. That's my boy right there. God, yeah. He doesn't appear much, but the appearances that he does make, he makes a big splash, big interest. Palpatine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Palpy. Yes, that's my boy.
Palpy.
Yeah. Palpy, man. Yeah. Palpatine. Palpatine is the main evil driving force behind everything. No Palpatine, no Star Wars, if you ask me. Like, that's how I see it, because there's no redeeming factor about him. Like, as a character, so many redeeming qualities. Like he's funny, he's evil, he's wicked, he's cunning, he's I feel like I'm describing like a boyfriend or so. I don't know. Like,
or a Slytherin.
I'm trying to make excuses for like an abusive serial killer or something. But more morally speaking, he is the absolute bottom of the barrel. But you got to admit, the guy is uber talented in the ways of the Force, like the strongest of his generation, if you ask me. But Palpatine, like, I admire in the prequels, I admire his cunning, like the way he's able to play into the fears of the Jedi without revealing himself. And like, it's incredible because he was able to seduce Anakin in a professional way to the dark side of the Force in episode 3. The ballroom scene, I don't even have to say nothing. That's
The
one of the
opera
best
scene,
scenes ever. The opera scene, of course.
The Darth Plagueis, yeah.
Yeah, Darth Plagueis. Yeah, Darth Plagueis, yeah. And yeah, even in the original trilogy, he doesn't appear that much, but
until episode 6, yeah.
Yeah, and it's because we get to see the reveal of the Emperor that we get to repurpose or recontextualize everything that we've seen of Vader so far up to that point. It highlights how much of a tragic character Vader is, and this happens all through how Palpatine moves, how he speaks to him, how he speaks to Luke, how he patronizes Vader without him even realizing it. There's like,
with each waking moment, you become more my servant.
Yeah, and what do you think is going to happen to Vader? He'll be cast aside like an old rag doll, man. Seriously.
Yeah, that's true. Now Palpatine's correct. Palpatine's a good one.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he doesn't BS the audience. Like, he is utterly evil. Like, he doesn't even try to hide it. He revels. He revels in everything.
He does kind of hide it in the first few movies.
Of course, in the prequel trilogy.
Well, badly to the audience, but yeah.
Yeah. He magically is able to fool everybody, But
especially when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm different," and like puts it over, and he puts the hood over, and then it's like, Viceroy, I don't want this stunted slime in my sight again. But it's like, but then it's like, it's true. It's just, but he's also a lot of fun. It's just like, especially with like episode 3, I think I have the most fun with him. Like, but even 9 is I know that we don't like 9. I still love him in 9. I think 9 is like the most badass we see of him. I think, in my opinion, like episode 9, in my opinion, has the second best opening to a Star Wars movie.
You know, I'm not gonna disagree with you there because the Rise of Skywalker does like drop you right in the middle of the action. Like you like okay, it gives you the information straight up. There's some hidden information in like from an insider guy. There's an insider guy who's getting information from the first order. Yeah, the first order, right? He gets transferred over to R2. The what?
Win the war.
Win the war.
Oh
I
yeah,
just like to
the
see.
Mark Hamill voice dude. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or yeah. But
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
ahead.
And then he gets injected into R2D2's like fun spot thing, and then they start hyper speed jumping, which I don't know if it makes sense or not. I'm still trying to make sense of it all, but it's fun. It's fun. I'll say that. I'll say that. But I kind of knew who the spy was. It's just like I don't care if you win. I just cared if
want to
Kylo
see
Ren
Kylo
wins.
lose.
Yes. Our boy
See,
John.
I never thought Kylo. What the fuck am I saying? Well, I never
Hux?
thought that General Hux would be the spy.
You didn't?
I didn't see.
I like the angle that Kylo and Hux were infighting, but I just don't see. I saw the reveal coming, but I don't like that Hux was like helping the resistance. I don't think that would be something his character.
It didn't
would
make
do.
any sense.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more of him and Kylo infighting within the First Order itself.
Like
Yeah.
it would have done away where it's like I know. Good job, Mike.
Sorry, that was a mosquito. I'm sorry. Keep
I'm just kidding. No, I have to admit because it kind of like it goes against what Huck stands for. Like he hates the resistance. Like it's the last day. Like like yelling to his disciples and Star Killer base. But yeah, I just it doesn't make sense where he goes like all of a sudden like I don't care if you win. I just want to see Kylo Ren lose, and it's just kind of like. Then why are you there? It just seems like you're already helping with the First Order. And then it's just I don't know. Like I wish the big problem I have in the sequel trilogy, they don't explain why. First of all, how they came back. They don't explain it at all in the sequel trilogy. I know that Mando will explain it more, and like other stuff will explain it more, and that's the benefit.
It
of
should
that.
have
But,
been
like,
explained in the movies.
yeah, they never
Yeah.
showed it, or they
Mm.
didn't show like how Snow came back, or or how I know how Palpatine pretty much said it in the opening of Episode 9, which is like the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Boom, 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 boom. It's like
I'll kill you. I have died before.
for. I have to admit, he was pretty badass. It was like a horror movie. I was just like,
Yes.
what can you give me?
Ian
Everything.
McDiarmid is
Everything.
always having
Yeah.
so much fun playing that character, whether
I
it's in
know.
the 80s, the 2000s, 2019. I can always appreciate that about him, even if I don't like that he came back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is undoubtedly the best part of that movie, if you ask me. When he's there, it's all action. It's all great,
Yeah. That Babu Frick.
Yeah. Babu Frig, man. That man's a legend.
I
You
know.
see, he's going to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian. Babu Frick is.
Nice.
I know he saved my marriage, but
What?
I'm gonna need you to pause there and go back.
Yes. Rewind.
No, did I say he saved my marriage? I meant he slept with my wife. No, going back to the list.
So wait, he did the opposite.
Yeah.
Saving your marriage.
But I still have the 5th Star Wars character,
Mm.
Qui-Gon Jinn. I find
So two characters from Phantom Menace.
yeah. Like absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of Star Wars characters, and like the order is very volatile. Sometimes I could just bait and switch how I please, but Qui-Gon will probably almost always make the cut, because even without the lore explaining or the Clone Wars or all this supplementary stuff going on, even in the movie, in the Phantom Menace, like Qui-Gon always struck me as centered, like one of the more centered Jedi that have been put into film in the Star Wars lore. But like he to me, he strikes me as the type of guy who will like he's not a conventional leader. He's not a conventional master. He doesn't follow protocol half the time because he sees that there is a better way to do it, but at the same time he respectfully goes about it. You're saying like, well, I don't mean no disrespect at all. It's just like he is the chosen one. How can you not see that? Even in the discussions with Obi-Wan or with the council, Obi-Wan keeps pushing him, saying, if you would just follow what they say, you'd be on the council already. Why aren't you doing it? And that's what Obi-Wan just doesn't get. Qui-Gon's just like, there's some things that I just don't agree with the council on. There's some things that where he's not as reckless as Anakin eventually turns out to be. But at the same time, he's not an Obi-Wan where he strictly follows every single protocol, because Qui-Gon has a bit of.
That's why like Plo Koon, I'm sorry to interrupt. That's why like Plo Koon is like he's kind of like Qui-Gon in a way where he's still in the council, but the only difference between Plo Koon and Qui-Gon is that Plo Koon's in the council and Qui-Gon isn't. And it's just kind of like, but he would be, but it's just he doesn't agree with it because he feels like they're more into the politics of things rather than what Jedi are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which is keep us to the peace, not soldiers.
Exactly. And there's a little bit of Dooku in him, but unlike Dooku, Qui-Gon stays in the order, and he has faith that things will get better. In a way, he's like, that's why I think that in the Phantom Menace, he's the main protagonist because he's the one that we latch onto when things go bad. He's always centered, always trying to find a solution to the problem. It's just like, we better find a solution quick or we'll be stuck out here. He's kind of like a nicer version of Batman in a way or something like that,
But it has more emotions.
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument to be made there, but like the fact of the matter is I love Qui-Gon's sense of leadership in which, he like, this is what I got from him. And it wasn't by anything he said, but how he carries himself. He carries himself as someone who shouldn't lose his balance, even when things turn out very bad, because
balance in the Force.
Yeah. And also a balance in that haircut. God damn. But yeah. Yeah. Hashtag bring back the ginger ponytail. But
no, I'm not going that ponytail. I'm not bringing
that. But that's why he's my number 5, and he'll probably not move from that spot because he's a good leader, and he acknowledges that to succeed you have to make sure that all the people that are following you and all the people that are with you are calm and collected, and they're following some sort of way where things can get better. That's why I think Qui-Gon is a really good character.
Qui-Gon's a really good choice. He was always. I told Elliot earlier, The Phantom Menace was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, and I loved it. But Darth Maul and Qui-Gon were my 2 favorite characters. So I was a little distraught after the movie because neither of them made it out of it, at least at the time. But like you said, Qui-Gon was like the perfect Jedi, even though he didn't really follow what the Jedi at the time were teaching. But going off that, I have to say another book recommendation is Master and Apprentice. It came out in 2019. It's by Claudia Gray, and it's about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan shortly before the Phantom Menace. And there's like a great scene in that where Qui-Gon is actually offered a seat on the Jedi Council, and he turns them down. And Obi-Wan's like, "Why would you do that?" And it's like the bookends of the book, and it really dives into the heart of Qui-Gon's character. So if you are such a good Qui-Gon fan and you haven't read that, that's one I would put. But I also have to say I have to jump off of here in just a minute. But
let's try to forget the Celtics game is on.
That's right.
Nice wiki feet.
Yes.
Wiki feet.
Bye-bye. Sorry.
Get ready to face defeat. No, just kidding.
Great.
That's right. All right.
But,
I'll stay, Michael or Andres, I'll stay a little bit longer for because you were here a little late, but I'll keep going on with you. But Mike, go start watching the game. Yeah. Sorry, I just had something to say. Yes.
Well, I was about to say, Elliot, I'm gonna have to jump off as well, my man.
So I'm gonna be by myself talking to the wall.
Yes.
I mean, some people might be into that.
That's right. That's right. I know I'll be watching while I'll be doing my stuff. I'll be like, yo, Elliot's talking to a wall, man. What a wow, I love him. Yeah.
I don't know how to react to that, but yes. All right, guys. Well, this was a lot of fun. I can't believe it. It felt like it was only gonna be like an hour, but now it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Feels like a Star Wars movie.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, Idris, you were only halfway through. You were like I'm trying to think of a character that was halfway. You're like Count Dooku in Attack of the Clones. You only came in towards the end. All right, but guys, this is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to having Mike again in the future. I'm looking forward to having just as always, like the force.
You can have me whenever you want, man.
That's right. Ooh, can't wait. Hopefully not like Babu Frick, where you won't save my name. All right, guys, it's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for joining us today, and may the force be with you.
Force will be with you always, man. Michael, a pleasure to meet you, dude. Looking forward to having you on the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down anytime.
Awesome.
Pollywinkle.